We'll have to start with that in.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of Brady Town Council's Environmental Services Committee being held on the 6th of July 2026. Apologies for absence, please.
Councillor Brewer, Councillor Lisa Newport and Councillor Palace.
Thank you very much. And we've heard nothing from the other committee members. Okay, we can just record that.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Any declarations, members' interests? Other than the usual district council? Just usual. Yeah. Thank you very much. Minutes of the last Environmental Services Committee held on the 8th of June as an accurate record. Yes, happy, good day. Yeah. I'll approve. Second, yeah. Okay, thank you. Item number 4, external reports from Brady FC regarding John Fisher, Flamefield and the Pavilion. Pleased to welcome Mr. Martin Shields this evening. I would like to ask though, well, as I understand it, nobody has contacted Brady FC about this meeting. He found out by luck.
Yeah.
So can we please ensure that in future, if we're expecting somebody to turn up and give us a report,
Yeah.
they have some notice that this is what we expect them to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Fortunately, Mr. Shields contacted me today and has got a report. So over to you, Mr. Shields. Thank you very much.
Stand up just like easy so we don't get back.
Yeah.
Yes, as I say, I apologise, it's only me, but it's actually our club AGM tonight, so I got probably the best job of not going to the AGM coming here, it's probably better. Just to fill you in, I mean, as far as work on the pavilion down there, we've done the opening of it. We've done it about 2 months ago. An invite was sent out to all councillors. Some people have been involved over years, some hadn't, who have been newly elected. And we did have a turnout of some councillors from different parties. So we've done the opening. It's now being used regularly on Sundays and Saturdays when they're training. The kids are training and playing matches. There's toilet facilities down in the disabled toilets all working. There is facilities for tea and coffee. So that's something that people can get down there if they need to, but they obviously pay for that. We charge for it, but not. It's not a profit-making venture. It's just purely a service. We've had 4 functions in there, 3 for charity. Mind, Lady McAdams, and I mentioned the other one, old cancer research. Small functions, quiz night. 2 of them were quiz nights, and 1 was just a race night that the charities organised. I'd hasten to add, and I'd bring this up for a reason, no payment was charged to anybody, because that was what we had originally agreed. But obviously, the only things we avoid would be anything majorly political or something like that. But we were in our rights to refuse if there's nothing there to open up. We don't employ people, so if there's nothing there to open up, then we can't do anything. We was approached by Royal Parish Council, and they had a meeting down there. It was last week. The complaint was put in by a councillor here about it, and as far as I'm aware, I believe it went to the council, and no, we wasn't in breach. Royal Parish Council never paid us. They paid for tea and coffees and biscuits, so that was all they paid for. It's working really well down there. People are using it. As I say, everything is really finished. It's double glazed, it's fully insulated, it's got electrical certificates on it, Legionella tests, it's got food hygiene rating. So everything is where we want it to be at this stage, which was the original proposal we put in for 3 years. We're actually ahead of where we were. So it's all being in full use and everything. It's probably cost us quite a bit more money than we assumed it would. And I think the general consensus when we signed it, it would have been cheaper to knock it down and put something else there. But it's what we committed to do. And I think I can honestly say, and anyone's welcome to come down, if there's no relation to what we took over. And we've got pictures now on the wall, what it was like, and the rest of it you can see yourselves. So it's all working well. We have, just so you're aware, we've put in the licence authorities for a alcohol licence. Now, the reason behind that is that even at charity evenings, people have asked, could they have alcohol there? We know we can get temporary licences, we know that. And let's be fair, you've got somewhere right next door with a licence, you've got Raven Town Sports and Social Club just down the road with a licence. At the moment, I think that's out for appeal. There's been some objections, so that's out for appeal. But as I say, that's the reason for it. We're not turning into it with a spoons or something like that. I mean, if you saw the size of it, it's not practical. You can have a party there as long as you've not got too many friends. So it's so from the point of view as a club, you know, we said we'd update everything. We were doing a lot more work down there than what we'd ever agreed. We was clearing a car park, we was weeding the car parks, going into areas where we hadn't. We've eased that back a little bit now. I believe we're trying to work together to get things like the playground sorted. Playground was never our responsibility all down the line, so that's been working well. But we've tried to keep things cut back for everyone. But we're one of these people, if we see anything, we take pride in it down. If we see something, we do it. And I mean, we've had barriers smashed off and things like that, and we've replaced them and things like that. Like we normally wouldn't get onto the clerk, just say, look, this is what we're proposing to do. Is everyone happy with that? And so, you know, rather than muck around, sometimes it's a lot easier to just do it yourselves. And so from our point of view, it's working well. You know, people that have used it see it's an amenity, which it certainly wasn't before. And I think comments from made the other day says it's open more than what the Grange Community Centre is. So,
Yeah, I think it is.
although I'm not claiming much fame for that because I don't think it's open that often anyway, so it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, as I say, part of what our lease was that we would come up every quarter or every one of these meetings and give an update where we are. And obviously, if there's any concerns from councillors or members of the public or whatever, then we can deal with that. And the other thing, we've had a request that's come through, I think today, it's come through to me today, request to hold this meeting down at
Yes,
the pavilion.
we wanted to suggest that the committee holds one of its meetings down there so that members do have the opportunity to see it. Those who haven't had the opportunity to go down there, so we suggested that our September meeting is held down there.
Have you finished? Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say,
Yeah.
I was just going to put that committee that would reply to it, but
Yeah.
because it's all party here, it's not a political thing that you're one party or anything like that, so I don't see an issue with it.
Of course, if you do manage to get a licence, we couldn't hold a council meeting, and neither could Rory, because you can't hold council meetings on licensed premises.
I wasn't aware of that.
That's a rule. So,
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of questions. Obviously, you notified the council before you had any meetings or any other activities other than what was already addressed. Did you contact the council on those other meetings?
What, the charity?
Yeah, yeah.
No, we
You
didn't.
don't need to,
We didn't need to. It's not part of our lease agreement to do it. I mean,
that's at their discretion.
yeah,
That's it there.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, thank you. I came along to your opening evening, or morning actually, which was absolutely brilliant. I can totally recommend the coffee. I think you did a good work down there. I've had residents who have actually said how lovely it is not to have to look at an eyesore from their lounge. And I have to say a huge thank you to whoever it is at Radley Football Club for answering one of my enthusiastic residents' many questions. So I thank you very much because that saved a few emails. I really appreciate that.
I mean, we're there to work with the community. That's been our all down the line. And, you know, we're quite straight, we're all volunteers. Nobody's paid, nobody's even expensed
Yeah.
in our club. So from a point of view, we're there to try and do the right thing, to give sport to predominantly kids, but we've got adult teams are thriving, the girls teams are really thriving now. We've got 14 and we've got adults and we've even got veterans. So, you know, we've got the right way across the board. John Fisher's isn't all the ground, as a lot of you know. We've got Chichester as well. I mean, the amount, so we've got 65 teams, you can get more in a job, it's just like, sure, we fill up the bottom end of raining with cars probably, so we get over there, so. But it works well for us, and I think what we wanted to prove to everybody is without a penny of taxpayers' money, we managed to create something that was derelict into something, yeah. It's not a palace, but it's usable, it's workable, and it can be for the community. And, you know, from our point of view, we don't care what it's used for. The charities come up to us, they ask, and we're quite happy to accommodate as long as there's someone that can open it up, and be there for the evening, that's all.
Thank you. Can I ask the clerk through you, Chair? Can we find out about the alcohol licence on premises? I thought that we could attend premises but not partake of alcohol. I didn't realise. Can we just confirm that? Because I think to have a meeting in September would be actually really good.
Hasn't got a licence yet, so we
No.
can't,
No, I haven't got a licence
we
yet.
can't involve ourselves until he gets a licence or doesn't get a licence.
Or maybe if the licence hasn't been resolved by September, there's no reason why.
It will be on the 15th,
What?
15th of July.
Oh, will
Why
it?
is it that you wanted an alcohol licence? Why is it you wanted an alcohol licence? Because, I mean, we came to visit Natasha and I and met one of the other guys down there a year or so ago, wasn't it? Yeah, Brian, yeah. And, I mean, it's before you did most of this work. I thought really it was going to be, changing rooms, toilets, that sort of thing. I didn't realise you were building a whole sort of, I mean, I think it's great that you've done that for the community, you know, that you can have little events and stuff like that and do stuff for the football club. But why does that involve, I didn't realise there's going to be kitchens, and also why does that involve having to have an alcohol licence?
The kitchen was always on the plans, it was always on the original plans. The alcohol licence was mentioned, but I'm not saying it was like the forefront of everything. The alcohol licence is just where people are saying to us, if they're going to do a small function now, I mean, even the charity functions, say, can we bring alcohol along? And it's not necessarily us selling it, you know, you're not going to have an optics at a bar there. All it is if somebody had a function and they wanted it, and they wanted to bring some cans along, they can do it. If we did it now, we would be, I believe, in breach of law.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not selling it for money or anything.
No,
It's just an option for people. If people have asked, so.
just sounds like it's turning into a little bit of a sort of club place,
Mm.
rather than just for the football.
Well, actually, it is a club place, it's Raleigh Football Club.
Yeah,
And if
but it says they're
Having-
saying they can
having
hire it
been-
out and things
having
like that.
played in those sorts of clubs, it's just a social aspect. If they don't get the licence or they don't want the licence or whatever they choose, then it's not going to change anything. They can still have their coffees, their cups of tea, their bits of cake and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
But it is something that Raleigh FC have created.
well,
And,
yeah, and I think it's
and
really
they
good
just want to
to
enhance.
have a community sort of thing down there and everything, because the Grange doesn't necessarily fulfil that brief.
And we're
it-
not open 7 days a week, we're nothing like that.
Yeah,
We're only open days where somebody wants to use it. Tonight, it will be open for the simple reason there's the AGM at the club,
Yeah.
which anyone can attend.
I'm just trying to understand, you know, because I've seen advertising going out on the socials, you know, about, oh, you can hire our room and stuff like this, and that's a little bit different than just giving it to
And
the
we
floor.
aren't hiring, we can't hire it as far as we're concerned.
Right.
So we give it to you, I mean, it's like, whatever, we wouldn't charge you. And in fairness, Royal Parish Council said, did you want us to make a donation to the club? And we said, no,
Yeah,
you know, because again, it just muddies waters. That's all it does. Yeah, it'd be nice, we're volunteers, we try and raise money,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, it just muddies waters, so the answer is no.
Charity.
But we would charge for teas and coffees and you know, did we make anything
Yeah,
on
'cause
there?
you don't wanna make
We might
a-
make a little bit
a
on,
lot.
but
Yeah.
I don't think we'll make a successful business out of it, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you. I was just trying to get a better
Yeah,
understanding
no,
of the direction.
It's a fair question and yeah, but you know, for the long term, it's just to be able to offer that if somebody wanted it. As we said, we can apply for a temporary licence each time, but it's probably a load of paperwork for us and it's a load of paperwork for the licensing.
Yeah.
but it's just easier, but it's not, from our point of view, it's not gonna be the end of our world.
No.
But it would just be nice, we just have to say people, we can't do it, or we apply for exemption.
Thank you.
I've only got one thing to raise with you, Martin. Item on this agenda, 5.3, is the open spaces maintenance contract, which is a contract we're going to create for, hopefully for John Fisher and Lower Wyburns. And I know over the years, you've exceeded what was requested of you as a gesture of goodwill. And before we get down to the nuts and bolts of this contract, I know I've got some ideas of what you already do, but we will have, should we say, a more official conversation with you to make sure that any items that you're doing at the moment as a gesture of goodwill, we should be including in the contract. If we can't get them in the contract, and then we say to you, as a gesture of goodwill, are you prepared to carry on doing it? Then we'll have an understanding that, oh, well, let's not ask that Friday. We want to just clarify where we all stand, and that if we have a contract that says A is supposed to be doing this, then A does it. It's as simple as that. Over the years, you've more than pulled your weight and done things that far exceeded what we were asking you to do in the initial. So if we're going to have this contract put in place, we'll just clarify everything.
We sit down with you and we'll go through it, and you know, we'll talk it through.
Yeah,
You know, we're volunteers, but we've got people
yeah,
that will
With certain skills,
help,
yeah.
things like that. And,
No.
you know, we do litter picks down there and everything. 90% of the litter isn't ours.
yeah.
I can assure you of that, because we clear up after the games on a Sunday and that. But people drop rubbish, and that's a fact of life. Sorry to say, but that happens over here and everywhere else.
Anyway, anything else for anybody? Thank you.
It's just that you do advertise this as a community hub with function room availability, and you put that out like,
Doesn't
Yeah,
sound
I have to say, for hire, like, it charged.
like utility.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, maybe I can clarify that better if that's misleading.
Yeah,
then.
I think it just needs to, because otherwise, you know, you might get people saying, well, can I have my, I don't know, son's birthday party here or whatever, let's have a rave. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't make it clear that it sounds like just a general call for hire sort of thing. I mean, I
No,
haven't
the
seen
word
this.
hire is not in there.
Yeah, it's,
Word hire is not in there.
No, yeah, but maybe that
But
just
why
needs
don't
to
we
be.
clarify?
I clarify
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So there's no misunderstanding.
A few words that need to be put in.
Yeah.
Because it does seem as though you're for hire. And that's what that's what the intention is, that you are for hire, like you've had the Royal Parish Council on there. Whether they make a gesture and give you something towards it, the place or the time or whatever it is, but it looks as though it's for hire, and
Yeah, 'cause having a,
well, Royal Parish Council, in fairness, we know them because we've had to work with them with Chichester. That comes under their catchment, and I mean, I've dealt with Royal Parish Council for
I think
too many years, so I'm sure, you know.
Can we just establish, this has got to go to the licensing. If there's any issues, it will come up at licensing. Okay?
Yeah, it would be handy if you do get an answer on whether you can have the meeting there.
Yeah.
If we got the licence, it'd be handy, because I wasn't aware of that, so.
But well, that's something that no doubt will be raised when it goes to the appeal on the 15th of July, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens from there. Anything else?
No.
Martin, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. It's, as I say, it's nice to be here, and it's nice to be able to update us
Okay.
what's happened, and that's
We
what
will
we
make sure
always
that
do.
next time you do get an invitation well before you're due to attend.
we need to be working a bit more closely with you in the, you know, the actual.
And maybe if we have this meeting, that might be a good idea.
Yeah,
Because you can see it there, you can see what we do there, and maybe start the meeting 10 minutes earlier, and you could just have, if you need to have a look around the other areas there, have a look around.
Okay.
thank you.
You're very welcome to stay, Martin, if you want to, or.
Not
you-
if you're any influence or anything, that's, yeah, I don't know whether to, if you talk to anyone from Brayton, can you tell them the meeting went on to 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
I probably will go there then. Thanks ever so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Right. Moving on to item number 5, management open spaces. Now, 5.1 talks about the survey reports. And number 2, to consider the quotes received, item 2, to consider reports for completing the remaining works. As far as I'm aware, and I'll stand to be corrected, while we've had conversations, and recommended action being taken, we have never seen full survey reports.
The full survey reports went out when we sent out the email regarding the emergency works at Lower Wyburns. So we sent out the whole report for all sites at the same time.
Okay. Can't remember it.
So all the works at Lower Wyburns were done because obviously they were high risk, so we are ratifying that one tonight. And then the remainder is John Fisher, for which we've got 3 quotes, and 2 of them came in at £200 and the other one came in at £150. Because there wasn't that much to do, to be fair, John Fisher.
And the one for £150, is it an established?
Yeah, that's the contract we use for Lower Wyburns.
The past.
So yeah, the one
Yeah,
that
okay.
high risk works and
So on that basis, are we happy to do the 150 if that's the case?
I don't think it's worth discussing, quite frankly.
Right, we'll go with that. With regard to the specifications for maintenance at John Fisher, just to keep things going, I have spoken this morning to Rochford District Council and asked them if they would be available to do the hedge trimming after the bird nesting season, obviously. And if so, would they be interested in quoting for the work? They've done it previously, they know what's involved. They would be a good benchmark. Obviously, we would have to ask other people, but they know what they're doing, they've done it before, and that's our
And
benchmark.
that has a value, doesn't it?
Sorry?
And that has a value.
It certainly does. How do we go about setting up a contract for John Fisher and Lower Wyburns?
So obviously you've got the bullet point list, which is kind of all the tasks that we've identified as being that we would require. I don't know if there's any others that people have answered it.
Has this been sent to all the members?
It's in your test.
So,
No, bullet points.
These bullet points.
Yeah.
So everybody's got those.
Yes, everyone's got those.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, whether there's anything we need to add to that. We've got some potential contractors booked in to do site visits and that, and we will be able to then give them the full spec for them to be able to quote. But we just need the committee to agree what tasks we're putting forward for them to quote on.
Now, can I also say, as far as I know, this came in this afternoon.
Yes.
Can we start having stuff so that we're not reading it 5 minutes before we come out the front door? Because sometimes some of us have other things to do other than sit.
Absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely appreciate that, yeah.
And while we're on that subject, this one about the toilet survey is exactly the same. It is not fair to expect committees to make realistic assessments and decisions on something that they've had perhaps 10 minutes to read before they come out to the evening. Or to this meeting.
The toilet survey was circulated previously. It was, I think the email you're referring to today was also circulated to KGB for their part. That's why they only got that today, because they haven't got their meeting yet. But it's the same report.
Yeah, but it says in there somewhere, on the, it will be discussed by us tonight.
Yeah, because it had been circulated to this committee already. When the report first came in.
Again, I haven't seen it.
Can I just go back to the work around John Fisher? We actually did do with Councillor Stanley quite a bit of work, and Councillor Gallop and a few others of us did quite a bit of work on this last year, and we came up with a list, didn't we? So if we can get a chance to compare this list to the list that we've already got, I've got it written down somewhere on a piece of paper, no doubt, at home. You might even have a spreadsheet. Then we could just make sure that everything's on it that we previously thought about.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. The first item says trimming grass within the play area, but it's also around the outside of the play area.
Yeah.
So that was, we said inside and outside, if I remember rightly. The hedges around the playing field, they only want cutting once every 5 years. So that can be sort of done once every 5 years. We should have all these, what we should do is, although we did do that last year and we made a note of everything, it doesn't seem to be on this list at all, that what we said. So if we had both of them, we could compare notes and then make a decision on how we move forward. Unfortunately, that's not available to me at the moment.
So I think we need to get that list that was done previously, and just going to one other item following our little visit this week. Trimming grass within the play area. I mean, when you say trimming, that implies you use a trimmer. We actually need the grass cutting, I would suggest, with a mower.
It's a couple of days' work to do that with a strimmer.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of grass.
and it was fairly obvious to me and Councillor Stanley, although it was supposed to have been done the week before last, that grass had not been cut for several weeks. It was too long. Must be 6, 7 inches high.
Weeds about a foot high.
Wow.
So-
Also, what happens about the badger hole set?
Oh, well, we're leaving, that badger hole is being left until the new year, when we can look at it again to see if it is being used or not being used, and then it will be filled in.
So it's been monitored.
That's what I arranged with the office
Yeah,
last year.
right.
So
Thank you.
if I can ask you two, can you try and find out this paperwork that you had previously, bring it along? And I don't think we have to wait until the next scheduled meeting. I'm not quite sure when that will be. But this sort of thing is a priority. We've got to get this in place. And I would suggest that as soon as you can coordinate it, Councillor Vernon, Councillor Stanley, with the office, compile this list, check it all out. Whether we need to go down and have another routine visit on these is entirely, I'll be guided by you.
I think it depends if we're talking about considering specifications for a contract, then we will have to draw up specifications for a contract.
Yeah.
So if we need remedial works in the meantime, that's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if we're like, right, that park needs potting or weeding or whatever it needs, the play area, then we'll have to do that as a separate.
We have got contractors, I understand it.
No, but we've got like
IA internals.
Something.
Yeah, well,
a man maybe that we can go to.
Well, no, that's what we were told the other day, that like, it was IA.
So they're paying £2,000
Right,
to have that area cut, and it hasn't been cut.
No,
oh,
no, there's no way that was cut.
No way.
Absolutely no way. So if you
So I
can,
would suggest, can I,
if you go, can we just get the stuff
Yeah.
in, Chris?
Sure.
And
go for it.
Marianne, get the stuff to the office as soon as you can. We'll put together a list for both John Fisher and Lara Wyburns. Once we've got a completed list, we will arrange a site visit for both of them to check off that we've covered everything. I mean, if we can't, one of you can't make it or whatever, and we will go through on a site visit, once we've got a compiled list, yep, we're happy with that. If not, then we'll add other things in, and we'll do it sooner rather than later. We certainly won't hold off until the next,
We can't.
well, yeah, go on.
2 things. First of all, the hole's been dug inside the play area. I don't think it is a badger at all. For the simple reason that badgers are quite substantially sized and weighted animals. And the surroundings of that play area is strong old railings, but the gaps aren't big enough for a badger to get through. So I reckon that's a foss. Whether that's doing it, it's certainly not a badger, which may change. Which changes the view of how we deal with it. The second thing is, if we are going to go for issuing contracts for this sort of maintenance, and we should, we're going to have to be a bit more specific about what we're actually going to do. How many times do we get to get that every year? How often do we do? What does maintain the area outside front of the pavilion actually mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to go through this with, I'm sorry, a bit of legalese.
Yeah.
So how are we going to use the KPIs to judge whether our contractors doing the right thing?
And as I say, until we've got a compiled list, and then we take that as our site visit, and we might have to dolly up the wording as we're there, or certainly make amendments, and then we can have hopefully, by the next meeting, we will have this all in situ and we can sign it off. As this is the contract we want to put together.
When is the next meeting, please?
September.
September.
So we've got
I
time.
think the office did get a copy of what we actually, because you wrote it down. didn't
I
you?
think,
I think there's somewhere in the office, there is a
Can you
copy.
find
of
it
it.
again, because
Sorry?
Kate put this list together because she couldn't find anything from the past.
oh,
Okay,
I've probably got it written down somewhere.
so.
And I think councillor Gallup's got some stuff as well.
A few bits here with
Yeah.
yeah.
If you could all just compile your stuff in, it'd be,
Yeah.
yeah, while we're talking about open spaces maintenance contract, and I'm going to use a bit of flexibility here regarding John Fisher. We were a bit concerned to see an electrical cable running across the car park, and it's going to the coffee thing, I believe, right?
Yeah, the
Horse box thing.
can I just explain?
Yeah, go, Chris.
Thank you, Chair. The reason for the cable running down the side gully of the car park was the fact that the generator that he uses had busted somewhere. Something had gone wrong with the generator, and he asked RDC if he could run a cable down the gutter from the Grange so that he had supply to his coffee machines or whatever sort of thing. The only, in my sphere of being an electrician for 45 years, and this is absolute, it's 240 volts, that cable. Now, it just needs scuffing a little bit because it's only very thin covering, and it needs to have a cover on it. In the world of electrical engineering, safety is paramount, and it should be put in a pipe or some sort of covering. That's the reason why we use armoured cable, whether it be internal armoured cable or external armoured cable. It's still armoured cable, and it can't be scuffed in the way 240 volts can, unless you're running 110 volts. If you're running 110 volts, you can use an ordinary cable because you can't get electrocuted with 110 volts. Now, my question to either A, the office, or whoever it was, should we actually ask RDC? And so I'm told that RDC is covering the insurance on that cable, which it seems a bit funny to me, but anyway, it seems like their insurance is, they said, because they own the car park, we don't own the car park, we only lease the car park. So because they own the car park, they're allowed to make judgments of that nature. That's what I'm told.
Okay, thanks. We all know.
May I ask, is this just been for one day, or is this turning into something permanent? Because you can hire a generator, can't you?
Well, that's, from what I'm told again, this is a temporary fix whilst the generator is being repaired.
Is this our coffee cart that we agreed to have?
It is,
It
yes.
won't be our responsibility if anything goes wrong, will it?
Yes, not, because as part of the agreement we had with Asperista, obviously, there was no supply utilities, we didn't have the ability to provide it. So if they've got that agreement with RDC, that's RDC's responsibility to.
Okay.
Well, it sounds, let's hope nobody actually falls foul of this cable, because you can guarantee the whatever goes flying around will not just stop at RDC. We've agreed, Rainey Town Council, to have this coffee pod. So I would suggest that we have some very urgent communications with pod people and find out how long this is likely to be. Because it sounds to me, even if it was for 2 days, sounds like 2 days too long, sorry. As we said, they hire one in. We cannot condone, just because Rochford District Council say they're quite happy with it. I don't think we have to say we
The
are.
licence agreement they were given was very clear that they weren't being provided any utilities by the town council. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying around the safety element. Obviously, that is ultimately on RDC if they have agreed that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think we should just sit back and say, wash our hands of it. We should take some responsibility because we have engaged this outfit with a generator. And if your generator, same as if your tyre breaks on your car, it's down to you to get it replaced. If the generator is broken, you get a hire in, rent in a new generator.
Who provided the cable? Was it RDC, or was it the sports
I
club?
mean, we're going down a road that I really don't think that we should start going down. I don't want us to be involved in a situation where we've got the electric cable, whoever's authorised it, running across a car park where we have small children, mums, all the rest of it, dogs, whatever. You only need the fox to chew through it. Sorry, we need that. We need a generator as soon as possible, please. When I say as soon as possible, I'm talking within 24 hours.
Next time,
At RDC haven't put anything in writing.
Right, moving on.
I can only give you the information that
Yeah.
I've been told.
But moving on, we need to address that because it will come back to us. It was us that approved the coffee pot. Yes. Moving on to John Fisher repair work. Now a few of us went down there the other afternoon. We had quite an interesting conversation with the representative from Reliance. I thought we'd come up with a plan where we could, for, should we say, a reasonable amount of money, improve the site and people would see a substantial impact on what we've done. However, now that the quotes have come in, and this is following the meeting the other day, we're up to £5,972.90 with 4 estimates still to come. Now, while we might say, yes, we can tick off some of these, this is a £10,000 project, effectively. And while Reliant may have a good name and all the rest of it, there is absolutely no way we can just sign off on Reliant. I know technically we should have got three quotes anyway, but we felt that the impact before the summer holidays, all the rest of it, could have made a substantial improvement on the site. But to look at these, we're up to £6,000 effectively already. 4,000 will be take away the 4-seat rocker, surface and picnic seating area. We just haven't got that sort of money until we've sorted out the contract for John Fisher and Lower Wyburns. That some of this stuff needs to be done. I think we can, we've got a concrete in this chain. £950 seems a lot of money to concrete in a chain.
Yeah.
And we need £45 for the missing bolt. I think we can go along with that. Go.
Also, with this, there's a 6-week lead time on getting replacement parts that we need. So we won't get it done for this summer holiday, that's for sure. There's 6 weeks it takes. Even if we was to put the order in tomorrow, it will still be 6 weeks before we get the part. So yes, some of it can be done in the way of concreting or whatever, but some of this, I mean, £900 just to concrete a post in, which is ridiculous.
It says on the other quote from the same people, concrete in some chain attached to the bottom of complan seat on multiplay is £195.
Well,
Well.
That one.
bottom of complan seat.
Yeah,
So we need to clarify that one.
should be 195 and not 950.
I don't know why I've got 2 different things from.
Yeah, that's what we don't
the same
understand.
quote.
either.
So can you clarify that, Sean? But I think these other points that I've quoted, the new two cradle seats, the reconcrete the play panel, and replace the rubber buffer on the gate. I think we're going to have to go along with them, and then we'll see take off the other issues as they come along. I thought yeah, I mean, say if we just take off those, if we can, with your agreement. I mean, Ian was there as well. I think I think we can go clarify this business, put the concrete chain in. The other issues are going to come to, a brand maybe.
Yeah.
We can live with that, get them done.
Yeah.
Because they may not be high safety issues, but they're definitely need doing.
So
And
can we make a proper note of which ones we want to agree to,
yeah,
please?
it's the £45 for the missing hole on the bench. It's £490 for the two new cradle seats.
Those are the two small seats for.
Yeah, for little kids.
children.
Kids.
Yes, there's a few cracks in the seats and also a couple of bits missing, so.
Yeah,
£395 for the play panel, free concrete all round back.
Yeah.
And £92.90 for the rubber buffer. And you'll clarify if it should be £195 for the chain.
Yeah.
Then we'll go with that.
Yeah, so you're happy for it to proceed if it's 195?
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
It's not,
But, and the other stuff we will look at in light, as I said, when I was down there, we don't just want to keep firefighting, we want to do something constructive so that residents can actually see we're doing something. We go along with those, but all these other ideas is probably going to have to go out for real three quotes.
thank you, Chair. Just to remind the committee from what we was discussing, there is a small bouncy thing in the middle of the area, and we aim to take that away and put another seat in for residents, for mum and dad or whatever. Whether that be a round seat or a long seat or whatever seat is going to be, that's what we're aiming to do, and put a new unit, a one child unit, further away from that area in front of the main swings, but in centralised in that play area. So yeah, we're trying to organise things to make it look a little bit better and easier for the residents to sit and do what is necessary. They're also going to do the replacement of the play bark, which has been dug up on the right-hand corner, which is being dug up. So it's going to get a couple of bales of play bark to go in that area so that the grass can be cut properly instead of all lumpy and what have you. So,
And we fill in that foxhole.
oh, yeah.
But and the other point is that the reason we were looking to relocate and the other the guy from Reliant said that we could buy a new bouncy, whatever you want to call it, virtually for the same price as moving one that's there. The real issue is the rubber matting underneath.
Around it.
And what we were trying to hopefully do, and we might still be able to do, is to make that a seating area and put a proper flooring around it so that it will give the opportunity for mums, dads, whatever, to sit there and watch the children, whether we had a circular
because
one.
there's no seating in there at the moment, I can't.
There's,
Two seats in there.
yeah,
We'll get some seats like what's over there maybe, so.
Yeah,
No, they're different seats. They're cast iron legs.
Yeah.
Planks.
but whether, I mean, this is something we were going to look at with Sean to go on, because, I mean, he looked straight away into his laptop and you could find basically picnic tables with seating round.
Yeah.
And the new flooring, and it will make an impact to people you know, all we've done is basically got rid of a piece of worn out equipment,
Yeah,
put that in, it looks nice.
I think
in
so,
fact,
it's good.
yeah,
I like those ones that are made out of recycled plastic.
well, yeah. So we're on that, and I think perhaps in the meantime, Sean, you could have a look at that scenario.
Yep.
And well, I mean, they're talking estimate 4,000. Well, you might be able to, well, without too much trouble, find a couple of people and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I've got to say that this is not my area of expertise. And we really must get at least another one or two quotes for the simple reason, some of these figures are just outrageous.
Yeah.
But these on face value, with no justification behind them. I'd look at these and say, if this is from my property, I'd say, justify this before we go any further.
Yeah, I mean, we do know, from experience, as soon as you start talking about children's play equipment, it's so expensive. It is funny money. I think years ago, Oldbridge bought Parish Council with a lot of Chinese children's stuff. It didn't last 5 minutes. So you know you're going to pay for whatever, but we know it's going to be expensive. But I say, I think these items we can live with, get them done, make things a little bit so because they were rocky.
I mean, that one in the middle, that's, without question, life expires, that's got to go, isn't it? But the idea of moving that and then putting some sort of picnic table seating in the middle so that mums, dads, whoever can sit there and watch their little ones wherever they are, as opposed to up the other end.
Yeah.
Great idea, like that.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll work on that one. But if you get any quotes in from anybody, Sean, can you make sure that all the committee are included in anything?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it is a committee. We all want to know what's going on. Don't think there's anything else to talk about on item 6. Moving on to the hang and basket provider. Re-tendering exercise.
Yeah, so obviously the contract expires on 31st of March 2027, so we need to go back out for tender. We did try to find a specification from when this contract was issued and can't locate it, so we are going to have to create a new one. I was going to suggest that we work with Natasha on it if you're all happy to work with us on that, and we'll bring it back to the September meeting for approval.
Is there, I know we shouldn't be doing this, but is there any way we could ask the present income?
So I've got like a document they did produce, but it doesn't actually list it, so we can pull together bits of information. And then,
Yeah.
Have you got a copy of the present contract?
that it's questionable.
So we haven't got a
Well,
contract for when
Have we got a contract?
It's quite a basic contract, so it doesn't actually list the detailed specification. Because it refers to a specification, but then there's no specification document with it.
Because the deputy clerk was very clear that this is what they do and we can't change anything,
Yeah.
but then now you're saying that we haven't actually got, we've only got a vague.
I mean, obviously, we have been issued one historically, but we don't have that on record.
We got involved with these people because they were successful and people had seen them in Whitford.
Yeah.
And Whittam or Chelmsford.
Written.
I thought it was Whittam.
It's written.
So perhaps you could have a word with Whitford.
Yeah.
And or Whittam. I think it was Whittam, but certainly Whitford.
Shopgate do their best.
And see if you can get any bits of information off them. Because I know when they came down, they do things like the Houses of Parliament.
Yes, yeah, I mean, I've used this company before in other parishes. And they've always been very good when we've used them.
Go on, Natasha, go on.
So I'd say, like, I do think they are pretty good, like, a lot of what they do, very lovely, actually. But I think for us, and I think it's good that it's on, the agenda tonight, just get the juices flowing around it, like,
Yeah.
rather than at the last minute, we'll go, oh, actually, I think they should have done this, or they could do that. I start thinking about it now, and I think for me, certainly I don't think we need to be adorning Webster's Way car park with beautiful flowers, because it's not in my car park, which would free up a bit of budget for elsewhere or whatever we decide to do. But I do think around the trees and things, we should be looking towards more permanent planting that has a few little bits put in seasonally to zhuzh it up a bit, but as long as you're putting in tiny little begonias and all of these every change of season, the pigeons whack it straight out again. Whereas if you start putting in bigger shrubs, they get their roots in, pigeons are less likely to pick out certain bigger plants. So I think for us, it's just kind of deciding what we want the contract to kind of do for us, as opposed to, and coming from a, you know, climate change point of view, and not constantly going for change the plant. It's a bit like the flowers in the park here. Start thinking a bit more long term, and ideally move towards something that's pretty cheap in the future to maintain. I mean, the hanging baskets will always be expensive, so if we continue with those, then they are what they are. But the permanent plant should be a bit more.
Start working on any information you can get about the present contract.
Yep.
Anything you can get from Shockwave or Whitcomb to support what we know, and then we can, as Natasha says, we can start working on a plan. This is what we've currently got now. How do we want to modify it or adjust it? Anything else?
Yeah, so it won't just be the Window Flowers High Street contract, it'll also be the PJ.
Yes, and this
Roses.
the office is recommending that it's all split into one contract rather than things separate.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Can I just, just to add, I want to try and add on to that, is that the toilets, the area around the toilets, that's the ones at Crown Hill. We have a separate contract, I believe, with another company, do we not? And, sorry,
PJR, so the one we just said will encompass
yeah,
them all.
are those the people that do the hanging baskets or not?
No,
That's
it's
fine.
winter flowers.
So
They do.
again, I think we could incorporate that with the hanging baskets, because that's part of our floral display, if you like, and we could use those particular plants that we're discussing.
When does PJS's contract expire?
I believe it's at the same time.
Yeah,
I'll
I think it's the same time, because the other thing we need to do is very clearly identify what is ours and
Yes.
what is not ours.
Yeah.
So like that bed at the top of the high street, is that ours, is that not ours?
Yeah,
The one
the one that we've been doing, the one.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, so how many,
On the church.
Yeah, nobody else wanted it.
No,
and also how many rose beds or empty rose beds there are running down London Road and London Hill, and if there's any others in other parts of Rayleigh and stuff, exactly which ones,
And I think.
because we did give one back, didn't we?
The rose beds, I think, are hard work.
I'm all for the roses.
Yeah, but they can't maintain them. They're not maintained.
Well, they are maintained, but we just need some nice new plants in there.
they are cut,
They are maintained.
They are cut
regularly.
down as they should be, but what's happening is that there's the ground is now beyond its
So,
produce.
I know people keep saying that, but
And you need to put, no, you really do need to put some grow more on it or some fertiliser. Yeah, it hasn't been done, and that's the reason why the plants have been deteriorating over the years.
And also where people have, I think it is as well, where members of the community, because the rose bed is outside of their house, they've parked their lorries on it from when they're building things and drive up and down on it because it's near their parking spaces.
Yeah.
It's not just the roses have died because the
Oh, no.
ground is old. It's it's deteriorated over the years, and we haven't ever replaced any. We haven't even ever tried. So it's just gradual attrition of over years
well, I
of
think
being various
it's
different
going to
things.
be a scenario. Do we carry on as rose beds? Or do we, as we're doing out in George's, slowly adapt? One, as Natasha has said, for the full changing environment, that rather, okay, if we're going to change, take some good roses out of this bed, put them in that bed, fill it up, and do, as Natasha would say, green grass, whatever.
Well, this
You know.
this is where we need to identify exactly what we've got and how many roses are where and stuff.
So if Natasha's happy to work with the office, and we'll kind of put together a document that we can circulate to the committee, and then
Yeah.
take it from there.
Good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have had an offer from what they call Pearson's Group. And that is from Pearson's Corner, where or Pearson's, or whatever you like to call it, on the corner of, the school,
Chris, you're talking about Pearson's Avenue?
Pearson's Avenue, yeah. We've had an offer from somebody
That's
to
Sanctuary
to
Road.
do that patch.
Oh, Vilma's saying it's sanctuary, not ours.
I'm adding closing to that
Did you?
because, yeah, about 6 months ago, because the resident contacted me and said,